Oh crap, I can't see you. Hold on. Got it.
And we're live.
Hey everybody, if it's 2 o'clock Eastern, it must be Ask the Agents. My name is William Bowles. I'm a licensed associate real estate broker with the Corcoran Group in New York City, and I'm here with Samuel Austin Hoffman, a licensed real estate person with the Corcoran Group in New York City. And sorry, I just caught a glimpse of myself and me not smiling as I started the show on Facebook, because we're on Facebook. All right, great. Anyway, so we're live every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and I'm on a smile. Wow, it just looks so awful. Smile. Sam, are you smiling today? What's happening?
I am smiling. It is a beautiful but hot Tuesday afternoon in New York City. Yeah, this is the first time. I think last week you were at your house in Connecticut, and I was still in Napa, California, and we had a surprise visitor. Your awesome husband, Ruben.
Yeah.
Graced us with his bathing suit. You're just like, yeah.
Yeah, it might be worth, it might be worth anyone who's watching this show and didn't catch it last week. You might want to go back down on the timeline a little bit. It's on both of our timelines. Go to like probably minute like 24, 25, if I had to guess. By the way, it was 1,000 degrees that day. I was sitting outside because I thought it'd be fun to do it outside. I was dripping sweat the whole show. That wasn't very fun for me. I think if I had to do that again, I wouldn't do it outside, but that's just.
It has cooled off a little bit. Well, today's hotter. This weekend was really nice. And it's no longer vacation mode. We are back from vacation.
We're back from vacation. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
July 10th, and this Friday is Friday the 13th, which is kind of cool.
I guess it's kind of cool. I have a closing on Friday the 13th, so that makes me happy. That is a reason for William to stay in town on a Friday in July.
I'm shocked. Are you going to go out afterwards?
Yes, I will be heading to Connecticut that afternoon.
It has been, I think this is like the third or fourth Friday the 13th this month. It was April, and it might have been
this year. Yeah.
It might have been January. I don't know. It's been a bunch. And it was October last year. So it's been a lot already.
There's so many good things going on. Maybe that's why it's the 13th. Actually, there is so much going on. I read a book about a year ago called Abundance, and it talks about all the good things that are going on. Because if you watch TV news, you think that nothing good is going on, but there's really great.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the nominations, surprisingly, even though it came from years later. Brett Kavanaugh has been nominated for the Supreme Court justice position here, or one of them.
Why do you like that, Sam? That's an interesting.
I don't think he's a bad character. He seemed like a really polished, nice guy. I mean, I know some of his idealisms, and I'm sure he'll be swayed a little by Trump, so that's not great. But truth be told, anyone that came in there was not going to be hit out of the park because they were going to be nominated by him. He seemed pretty polished last night. He seemed a family man. I don't know. I do know that a lot of people did not like him, though, because there was a lot of protesting last night and today.
I have been trying to tune out of all of it and just do
all right, so I'll give you some other news. LeBron James is now a Los Angeles Laker.
Okay. All right.
Did you not know that?
How does that affect you? I did know that. How does that affect you, Sam?
How does that affect me? Well, he didn't come to the Houston Rockets, so that's totally affecting me right now in my space. Yeah, I'm pretty upset about that. But good luck to him and his team hopping skills. Anyways, down to the nitty gritty. What is
the nitty gritty? What is the nitty gritty? What are we talking about today, Sam?
Podcast. My colleague and associate William Bowles came to me this morning and said, what about doing a podcast instead of a live video? Sure, people will get to see our faces, but they'll get to hear our beautiful voices, and it's a different medium to get out there.
Well, so here's my thought, Sam, and we'll just have this conversation because we really haven't had it, so we'll just have it live on Facebook. So when we started this, like probably almost 2 years ago, I don't know. What do you think? Almost 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think about 2 years.
Give or take. So when we first started this, Facebook Live was a new technology, and you could, there weren't very many people doing it, and it was a cool way to be able to interact with people. live. They could jump on, they could ask questions, et cetera. And we had a lot of fun with that for a while. And actually, we originally started videotaping, and we would take the tripod and the camera out to the park or whatever, right? And upload those onto YouTube and then or Facebook, and then that turned into Facebook Live. So I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling like, and part of it is because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I believe in that medium, and I believe in the growth of that medium. I also know for a fact that Facebook is limiting the amount of eyeballs that we're getting out to because they want us to somehow like spend money. I know that for a fact. So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think about it, Tim?
I think it could be a really cool opportunity to do something different. Once again, we started this live trend. I don't think it was big at the time. We've definitely gotten some people in here that started doing their own videos after being on our show. We played with different stuff. We played with timing. We played with how we release it.
Yeah, we changed our timing. Yeah.
We started filming it, and then we would release it, and then I would go home, I would edit it, and release it, a certain time every week. Then we went live, did that. We've tried Instagram sometimes. We've played with a lot of formats. Most best was honestly being in the same room with the phone and trying to get ourselves in the square.
Yes. Before we did Blue Jeans, we would crank up the laptop and sit really close next to each other, and yeah, that was kind of fun
so
too.
We've done it all, and I think once again this is just another. And while podcasts aren't the newest trend, it might be a different way to reach people that we haven't reached before.
Do you listen to podcasts?
I listen to a few.
What do you listen to?
There was a really good one. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. A friend of mine recommended, and I listened to it. It was honestly my first podcast probably a year and a half ago. Maybe it was a year and a half ago. It might have been sooner. Hold on, I gotta think the name of the podcast. When I find it, I'll let you know. You can keep going on.
Well, I'll tell you about some of the podcasts that I listen to a lot. I listen to a lot of the different NPR podcasts. So there is How I Built This, which I love, and they interviewed CEOs and company founders, and I think they release one every week or two. And you hear the backstories of people and why they started companies. A lot of entrepreneurs. That one's a great one. Those probably run 30 or 45 minutes. There's one called Well, I'm sorry?
S-Town.
And what is S-Town about?
So it's almost like a mobster kind of thing. Hold on, I'm trying to.
Oh, so you go more for the ones where they're telling a story. It's like reading a book and you're listening it.
S-Town is 7 episodes. It's an investigative journalism podcast hosted by Brian Reed and created by the producers of Serial and The American Life. Basically, yeah, this is a year and a half ago when I listened to it, but it was very short.
No, wait, but it's not fiction.
No.
So what did they investigate? You remember?
Okay.
All right, it's okay. But you know what?
He investigated an alleged murder in his hometown of Woodstock, Alabama. A place the main guy claimed to despise. After a year of exchanging emails and several months of conversation with the main guy, they traveled to Woodstock, Alabama, and investigated.
But this is all real. This is all real news, right? They're just investigative. So, and I think what you said is one of the producers of it is the producer of This American Life, which is another one of my favorite ones. That's been around for a while.
You might have to listen to this one.
A lot of the ones that I listened to, I think, started out as segments on NPR. I think This American Life, I believe, did that. The TED Radio Hour is on NPR, and so I listened to the TED podcast, which basically repackages ones that have been on NPR. This American Life's great. It's usually, I love it when they divide it into 3 acts and they tell 3 different stories that wind together.
When do you listen to podcasts?
So, and that's one. It's a good question. That's one of the reasons why I'm sort of bullish on it. You can basically multitask while you're listening to them. So I listen to them at the gym. I listen to them in the morning sort of as part of my morning routine. When I'm up in Connecticut and maybe I'm doing yard work or something, I'll be listening to it. So it's one of the things that sometimes I get when I get to the office at 8 o'clock and no one else is here until like 9 o'clock, I'll put my headphones on and listen to it. So you can do other things while you're listening, and that's why I'm really bullish on it, because it's sort of like versus if you don't catch us at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesdays, we don't get a chance to interact with you. And again, Facebook just keeps squeezing down the number of eyeballs that we're getting. Then I like that you have a format that we decide to record it when we want to, release it when we want to, and then it just sort of lives there and people can listen to it and people can binge our show if they like it. I like that too. And this is all very selfish of me because it's the way that I'm taking in a lot of content right now, and I just think that there's other people.
You're right, and I'm going to be very blunt right now.
Please do.
Let's be real. How many people watch our show? If you don't watch it live, like right now, whatever, how many people are going to go back? Because I'm one of these people I'm talking about. I'm going to go back and watch a 30-minute video. I don't have that time to watch it. Sure, I can listen to us, but I just don't have the time. And what I'm getting, even my own wife, who does watch our show here and there, she doesn't listen to volume because she can't do both. So she just watch. So, I think.
Speaking of that, Sam, I'm sitting in the conference room here at the office, and they have these things flashing. And one of the things that was like data points, one of the things that was flashing, but right before I hopped on, was that 82% of social media videos don't listen to the audio. So the suggestion was, if you have a video, you should consider doing subtitles, whatever. Captions, thank you. So, I think the way people take in content is changing.
I tried doing that for our videos one time, captions, but it was very difficult because you have to speak, "Hi, William, how are you?"
I would think there's all sorts of software and things and apps.
There is, but I mean, it's the same. Okay, it's the same thing when you're voice messaging. If the room's not quiet, exactly the same.
Well, and your phone learns your intonations and the way that you talk, but the app may not.
So no, I'm going to be very candid. I don't think people watch our show. I mean, some people do, and kudos to y'all who watch it, but people do not watch our show later on, at least not the whole thing. They always say it's the first 5 seconds. If it doesn't grab someone, or 3 seconds, they're gone. But I just feel like people are not don't have 30 minutes.
Although I have to say, the first few seconds of our show are usually quite entertaining because we don't know we're live yet, so God knows what we're saying or what we're doing. Because I have found out when I go back and replay, it's always like we're sitting there chit-chatting. Oh, and we're live. Anyway.
I think it's brilliant. I think podcasts.
Wait a minute. I just went on your timeline. You went to see Rascal Flatts?
I did.
Wow.
You know who they are? Is that before your time?
I think I know who they are. Who's the buddy that you're with there?
My wife.
And Dan Stein.
Dan and Rob.
Oh, right. All right.
We're sad. I don't really go to Long Island that often, or ever really.
We're at Jones Beach or something. Yeah.
It was a neat venue. It was outdoors and it was on the water and it was gorgeous. Friday, I was so scared because it was raining, and then all of a sudden, right when we got out there, it was gorgeous night.
That's
low
nice.
70s. It's perfect. Anyways, back to the podcast. I think it's brilliant because like you said, you can do yard work, you can do work. Half the time I talk to William at the office, he just goes, because he's listening to podcasts probably.
That's not true. That is so not true.
I'm kidding.
You know what's also great about podcasts, and I don't know the technology of it, but if you're listening to one, you can listen to it on the subway. You necessarily need
I was just going to ask you that.
Internet connectivity. You don't. As long as you get, well, you can do that, which I never do. As long as you get it started when you're above ground, it actually keeps playing and I don't know, it must have grabbed minutes ahead or something and then it saved it automatically. But again, I don't understand the technology of it.
No. And I was going to ask that, if you can do it when, for instance, you're on the subway or in a plane.
But then here's the other fun thing that I want to do, or I think it's fun. So some of the podcasts that I like are very formatted and they have different segments. There's one that I listen to. It's called It's Been a Minute with Sam Sanders. And so he has different segments. So he has at the beginning of the show, he always has at least two guests, and they go around and they describe the weekend news in 3 words. So they each have 3 words, and then they say why, whatever the 3 words are. That's one segment that's great. Another segment where they call someone about a specific topic. I mean, this particular show is very politics and news related, but so, they may, this week they might call someone who they feel like is somehow going to be affected by the Supreme Court pick in the last election. And then another segment is Who Said That? It's really funny. They actually play this, something else I like about podcasts is you can incorporate sort of audio clips, music into it. So every time he does the Who Said That, and you should listen to one of these, I think you'd like it. Every time they do the Who Said That, they do this clip of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she's like, "Oh, who said that?" And like every single time. Anyway, I don't know if that was a good. You like that? Anyway, and so in the Who Said That segment, he literally reads a quote that somebody said something about something, and that tends to be not even politics related or whatever. It's just that he's usually interviewing news people, and so anyway. I like that you can do segments. I like that it's sort of a little bit more formatted. I like that you can incorporate, if you want to have a theme song or you want to have a little audio before a segment. Like to me, that's kind of fun. So I don't know. I've been thinking about this a while. I know I sprung it on you earlier. We're basically sitting here having a conversation on it.
No. But I'll tell you what. I question for you. We are like you like to say bullish. We've always been bullish about the fact that people can see us. Mm-hmm. That they're getting.
Well, it's not that they can see us, don't you think? Don't you think it's more that they can enter? That we started this format because they can interact with us.
No, but it's also I know we made a comment before where you can interact with us, but you can also yes, you get to see your agents, you get to see these guys. You never know. You pick up the phone, you talk to a real estate agent. Whatever, and you never know what they're going to be like. Not that looks or anything to do like that with the real estate agent. I'm saying you never know what to expect. You get the full package with the video, but you did say an interesting word just now: interact. With a podcast, people can't interact, can they?
Well, they can interact obviously after the fact. They can interact. I mean, if we can call, we can still have guests. We can call in and have guests. I mean, because a podcast is going to be, we can release our podcast on Facebook. Our podcast can actually have its own page on Facebook. So I think that there's different ways to do it. My homework for you in the next week is to go and listen to some podcasts. I'm actually going to go on Facebook. I'm pretty sure there's someone who does a podcast, actually from our company, who does a podcast pretty well. Betty is
Who?
Betty has a. Oh, I thought maybe. No. I'm talking to myself. I said I bet he has a Facebook page for his, but he doesn't.
I thought you said Betty.
I don't know if I want to give him a shout out on the show, but he's very good at what he does. I'll say this too. I don't think that there's very many people that are doing good podcasts in our market, and I think that there's also an opportunity for that. I don't know. Just like a lot of.
We record it. Do we record it together? Or are we in separate areas?
Yeah. No, you definitely record it together, and I think there's different ways.
Basically, like having a phone conversation, hold it down, and then just talk.
Yes, but I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. But
no, I mean I was reading up on it, but in terms of length, what I wonder what you think.
In terms of what?
Length. How long?
Oh yeah, I think it depends. The one that I'm thinking of, let's see, his are, I don't know, they're about 20 minutes. I think they're about 20 minutes.
I'd say no more than 15, 20 minutes. I'd say no more.
But so and not that we can maintain our own attention or anyone else's for this long, but one of the ones that I really watch, and actually one of the most listened to podcasts in the country, is by someone called Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan used to be an actor, and then he's an MMA guy, and he's stand-up comedian. And he has really, really interesting guests. His run between 2 hours 45 and 3 hours 15 every single, and he releases like 2 or 3 a week. It's actually one of the things that and again, that's not what we're going to do, but that's one of the things I like about the format is that it allows you to go really deep on topics and have really deep conversations with people. And there's no, you can meander and you can do whatever you want. People can fast forward. I sometimes fast forward in those things, or especially if he's talking about MMA, I'm not going to listen.
Have you looked up real estate podcast?
No, but we should do that. And
I looked
again,
up top 12.
Yeah. And what do you got?
Well, we have Leveling Up by Joshua Smith.
I've heard it.
Bigger Pockets podcast, but Bigger Pockets. Super Agents Live, almost with ours, by Toby Salgado. Real Estate
I know the
Coaching
name.
Radio. Huh?
I know the name, Toby Salgado, yes.
Real Estate Coaching Radio, Tim and Julie Harris.
I've heard of them, yes.
I like the next one a lot. Agent Caffeine, Kelly Mitchell.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Real Estate Strategy Lab, Jeff Koga. Elite Agents, Debbie Del Grotto. And then the last one is I Am Real Estate, CEO Dottie Herman, Douglas Elman.
Interesting. I didn't know she had a
Agent
podcast.
Caffeine and then Super Agents Live.
Super Agents Live, I know I've listened to. Agent Caffeine, I have not, but I like the name. There is one that I'm surprised it's not on there, and those guys, that's the one that sort of got me turned on to the format that we use, which is Facebook, and that's the Real Estate Uncensored. Those guys are still doing their thing, although they've sort of changed their whole thing a little bit. They're now building a team at EXP Real Estate, and they're sort of a little bit more into that than they are, I think. And they're doing different types of podcasts, but they're still doing their thing. But I think that I think that there's a format for it. Actually, it's funny. They now looks like they go on Live Leap. We tried to do Live Leap, didn't we?
What live what?
I think we tried to do Live Leap at one point. Funny, they're not using Blue Jeans anymore. Interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, I'm surprised they're not in the top 10.
Where did I say that? Agent Caffeine? Agent Caffeine, topping the charts since 2011. Industry guru Kelly Mitchell interviews and excerpts some serious real estate secrets. Listen to conversations surrounding
I gotta listen to that, man.
Technology and real estate with topics ranging from strategy, advertising, marketing, sales, branding, and more.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah. And how easy is it to find a podcast on your phone?
Oh my gosh, it's so easy. So when you go to your phone, I have an iPhone. Do you have an iPhone, Sam? Yes, you have an iPhone. If you go to the little icon that says podcasts, it's purple with a little white thing on it, little white microphone on it. And then, have you found it? All right. So go to browse.
Yep.
And then go to top charts.
Yep.
I'm curious if your chart's the same as mine. Yeah, what do you have on your top charts? Mine's not coming up.
The Trump Supreme Court finalist, Fermi's Paradox, The American Life,
This American Life, there's a new one I have to listen to. Yes, what else? It's such a great
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
See, Joe Rogan. One of them is
so you're saying that the Ask the Agents podcast will be on here?
Yes, absolutely.
Right, sandwich in between Trump's right there, number 2.
I'll say this, in that list of I think there's probably 50 on the top chart. I've never seen a real estate podcast there. So maybe that's our reason to, maybe that's our goal. We want to be right next.
Agent Caffeine shows, episodes. Wow, how many does she have? It's cool.
It's interesting, there's not a real estate category. I still think that there's not a lot of people that are doing it well.
But if you type in real estate, there's a lot that comes up.
No, there is. But I'm saying if you look at the big buckets on, and again, this is just one way. This is the way that I usually go get a podcast. There's different ways you can go. I know Stitcher is one of the things that people, I think that's an app that people use to find podcasts.
So I typed in real estate, and these are some of the ones I got.
Mm-hmm.
Recognize any of them?
Nope. Absolutely not.
We'll be there soon.
We will be there soon. That's our goal. If anyone, by the way, I feel like you and I just been having a conversation and not really trying to bring our audience in. But if anyone stuck through it or jumped on and watched, and you have any thoughts on us switching over to the podcast format, or you even better, if you have something that you would like to, a tip that you would share with us on sort of an easy way to dip our toe into this, we would be super appreciative for your information and your guidance, your opinion. So let's see. Here's my library. So, Hidden Brain. That's a really good one. I listen to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk. I talked about Planet Money and I talked about This American Life. Yeah. Embedded. That's another really good one. That's an NPR one. Pop Culture Happy Hour. That's okay. I don't love that one so much.
I thought you don't like the news, but yet you listen to NPR.
Yeah, but that's like what I don't love is the hysteria that is CNN and MSNBC and Fox News.
I thought you were a big Fox News lover.
No, I think you know me better than that.
We have a question that came in not related to podcast.
Really? Someone's actually jumping in with a question. That's awesome. What's the question?
Dan Steinberg writes,
Thank you,
would love
Dan.
to know the best way to market to out-of-the-country buyers.
I think he had asked that question before. Do you want to take that one, Sam?
Tell him.
What?
Sure. Social media is a huge way you can market.
Well, because you're big on social media, so yeah. So
I target a lot. So if you ever see any of my photos or videos and stuff, a lot of people obviously that are not from America, but that's because I target a lot of overseas to capture those buyers. Because to me, social media is the only real way to market out of the country. I'm not going to send like a mailer people out of the country necessarily. I'm not what their address is. It's costly. So to me, it's all about social media marketing to other countries. Which I want a question for you because I wasn't around in real estate then. What did y'all do before social media to market, let's say, to China and Europe?
Well, traditionally, you would run an ad in a print publication that is either distributed in a different country or it's been a long time since we haven't had our things online. But I think I think it would have been like the international edition of the Financial Times or the Wall Street Journal. Those used to be options, and I'm sure those still are options. But I think print is less and less relevant with regards to marketing spend, especially for real estate listing.
You would say social media is the number one way to advertise?
I think social media, and I think the specific targeting that can be done in social media. And hey, anyone around the world can listen to a podcast. See?
Nice little pitch. I'm already thinking of our theme songs, our theme tune.
Bringing it back. Here's the other thing, just thinking, and I think we mentioned this a week or two ago. If you list with Corcoran, then your listing is, especially I believe, I don't know if they do all the listings, select listings then are put on different websites in different, there's a partner in Europe, John Taylor, that our listings go on. GUI is a site that's in GUWAI, I believe it's a site in China. So, there's lots of great technology that Corcoran invests in to make sure that we are trying to get into that market. Even more importantly, though, Corcoran invests a lot to make sure that if someone is on the internet and they're searching for a condo in New York City, we're making sure that our listings and our agents are served up first. So I think that hopefully answers Dan's question, because those out-of-country buyers generally are coming into our market to look for properties, and agents
Yeah.
And it takes a big firm like Corcoran to be able to do the spend to make sure that our things are served up first in search results. So there you go. So we actually did a real estate question. That's trademarking. You just
I have no idea what
you just
talking
owe somebody
about.
a nickel just for even playing that on them.
Yeah, right. You're crazy.
So
That's a great, but something like that, I'll think of it. I'll whip out my guitar. Yes, I used to play guitar.
you bring out your guitar. That would be great. That would be great. And yeah, so we got a lot of research homework to do. What's that?
Ask the agents.
If you go back to our really old school shows, you used to play things like Tina Turner, like Simply the Best, and all sorts of stuff.
Simply the best.
When we would
You know when I did that song?
what?
When we had a special guest star, our Elaine Dean, our office manager.
Oh, is that when you use? I love that you remember that. That's amazing.
Photographic. I did every song you can think of.
Do you really have a photographic memory?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right. I'm going to test you on that at some point.
I know everyone's numbers by heart.
What do you mean numbers? Phone numbers?
I can name all my friends' phone numbers right now. People I haven't talked to in 10 years, I still remember them.
I would challenge you, but I don't know your friends' names outside of people that we know in the office.
You what?
What's my phone number? Excuse me. What's my phone number?
210-875-2910.
You said 210, but
212. I said 212.
Oh, okay.
210 is San Antonio, my friend.
Oh, so could I quiz you on area codes?
San Antonio. It's my aunt. 210-862-4141.
Maybe you don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. You can give your aunt's phone number.
I know so many numbers it would bobble your head.
All right, now that I know this about you, I'm gonna start quizzing you on things.
My mom, I have to. My mom has like 4 cell phones.
We have to you and your family with the multiple cell phones. I don't really understand
We grew
that.
up having 8 phone lines in our house.
I just don't understand that. There must be some sort of crazy side business going on that none of us know about.
Yes,
direct lines.
We do dealings.
There must be something going on.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. I think we have digressed, and I think we beat this horse as dead as it can be.
Podcast.
It is 2:32 p.m. and we had fun today. Hope if you are watching us, you did as well. We ask that you like it and love it and share it and all that kind of fun stuff, and tell us what you think about us doing a podcast. I'm sure you'll miss seeing our mugs, but I'm sure every once in a while, if and when we do go over to the podcast format, we will still, I mean, we could definitely set our computers up and go live while we're taping our podcast. We could try that.
Or we could just set up a phone and do like an Instagram story or behind the scenes.
Well, that's the thing, we don't have to like everybody else does.
We need to do one of the giant microphones. The recording studio ones, the big thing.
Yeah, well, we have to figure out the technology of it, and make sure that it sounds good and all that stuff. And then you can sing. All right, we really need to stick a fork in this.
Okay. Ask the Agents. We're live every Tuesday. We might be coming to you on podcast format very soon.
Very soon. Probably not next week though, because there's a lot of work to figure out. But logistics. But anyway.
Bye, y'all.
What's up? All right. Bye.